Welcome to the Operation Game Night podcast. We're back and better than ever. Today, we are talking Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, the board game. Yes, lots of abbreviations there, but we are talking Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, the board game today, which is a solo-only game. I guess there's a two-player variant out there. I have not played it, but it is a solo-only game about The Dark Knight Returns. If you're familiar with the comic book, it basically follows that same story arc, but you play as the man, the myth, the legend himself, Batman. Before we get to that, let me introduce my co-host, the Robin to my Batman, Clayton Gable. How you doing, Clay?
I'm doing great. It's an honor to be your Robin. I was getting a little worried. I was like, man, he's just going to start talking. He didn't even intro me.
I got you.
But I should trust my Batman a little bit better than that. You're not going to leave me hanging here.
Never.
Yeah, I know nothing about this game at all. This is, as the professionals we are, we decided to cover this 10 minutes ago. So
yeah,
I didn't have time to look it up, and it did not ring any bells in my head. I like Batman. But yeah, this game is all new to me. So tell me about it.
If you had to pick one of the Robins to be, which Robin would you be?
I guess I don't like Batman that much. I don't think I've seen a single Batman that had a Robin in it. I've seen The Dark Knight.
Okay.
And was there a second Dark Knight?
Yes.
I probably watched the ones with I watched The Dark Knight, and if there was one that followed after that, I watched that too.
Okay, so we're talking Batman movies. Have you seen the George Clooney ones?
No.
Okay. Have you seen Val Kilmer?
No.
Okay. Have you seen Ben Affleck?
No.
Robert Pattinson?
I might have seen Ben Affleck part of the movie.
Okay. All good. Not important to this game at all.
Who's the guy is it Christian something?
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale is my Batman.
Okay.
And yeah, so I guess I'm not a huge Batman fan. I have seen the one movie. I don't know Robin, but here we go.
Not familiar with any of the comic books?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well, I'm not going to get too big into the story here in case somebody wants to experience this game for the first time, because this game, you basically play through the story of The Dark Knight Returns, which is a story arc by Frank Miller, widely viewed as one of the best, certainly a standout of Batman storylines out there and run of comics. In this one, Batman has either retired or possibly dead. But you know that Bruce Wayne is alive. So you know that Batman is still out there. And he comes out of his quasi-retirement to save Gotham once again. He is joined by his Robin in this story arc, Carrie Kelly. In my personal opinion, one of the worst Robins out there. But this story arc is pretty awesome. He comes out of retirement. He's a little beat up. He's a little worse for the wear. He's got years of fighting under his belt, but he's coming back to save Gotham. And that's what you're doing in this game. It is a narrative survival, tactical combat, and resource management type game. It has excellent dice, to include Batarang dice, which are essentially a D4. They're super nice because they are like a D6, but on two of the sides, there are these little wings that pop out and prevent it from rolling on that side. So it's essentially a D4 that looks like a Batarang. I'm going to find a picture of them later.
Yeah, you need to.
I'm kind of controlling and briefing at the same time, but
yeah,
they're great. And they have words on them like pow or block or wham or whatever. Love that. Very comic booky. Basically, it's 4 interconnected missions that act as kind of a campaign type game. And the objective is to survive escalating threats and defeat each book's boss. First book is figuring out who Two-Face is and stopping Two-Face. He's the big bad on the board. And what you're looking at when you look down the board is a big map of Gotham that is broken up into sectors and districts. And it's kind of color coded, and there's a bunch of little circles all over the map. Let me see if I can pull up a picture here. Looks like this for those that are watching on YouTube.
It's giving me Unmatched vibes.
Okay, yeah. Movement kind of works like Unmatched. And each of these little circles represents a different location that's seen in the comic books. And then way up here at the top is, Wayne Manor, kind of in the outskirts of the city. Batman can travel on these like secret passageways to get back to the Batcave. And basically, you're running through Gotham trying to thwart threats, which is very difficult to say. But it kind of gives me a little bit of like pandemic vibes. You are running around, you and controlling your allies. First one is Commissioner Gordon. You get more later on. And you're kind of running around trying to find these clues that have been placed out in these different circles. Uh, with you and your allies. You're fighting bad guys. You're kind of like suppressing the press coverage of Batman, the little green things in the circles. That's the press, and you don't fight the press, but you can certainly suppress the press to make sure that Batman's not getting covered. He wants to be a little covert, wants to do things in the shadows, right? So you're kind of moving these characters around. You're encountering mutants, uh, which is kind of unique to this storyline. Typically, it'd be like your thugs or whatever. And each of these different factions, being the cops, the mutants, and the press, are altering your movement. They're creating encounters that you have to deal with. And you're going through and trying to upkeep your strength, your grit, and your intelligence or something. There's like these three stats kind of up here on these sliding scales up here on the corner that are the things that you're balancing as you're moving throughout, trying to find the clues to eventually thwart Two-Face in this first book. Now, all that seems relatively familiar. It's kind of like Pandemic, right? The scenario changes. The enemies are moving around. They're always like on the hunt for Batman, and you have to deal with that. Now, in this game, the way that they switch it up from book to book, from turn to turn, is that you're flipping these events over that are changing the way that the game plays. You are encountering these goals that will pop up that you are trying to achieve to earn rewards. And then eventually you're trying to find enough tokens, like these little clue tokens, to eventually identify Two-Face and then fight the big bad at the very end. What do you got so far? Curious? Sounds good?
I am very curious. It sounds good to me. It sounds pretty straightforward from the high level that you've got me at here.
Yeah.
It does say it's a 3.11, which leads me to be a little nervous about getting too excited about it. But what so what's your turns look like? Solo games are usually a mystery to me in how you actually go about engaging with them. So what are you actually doing here?
I wanted to pull up a copy of like the turn order card because it lays it out beautifully. Really, let me see. Your turn structure is the event phase, the movement, ally activation, and then you resolve combat. Then the enemy escalates and gets put back on the map. Okay. So the event phase, you're flipping over an event card that will tell you what this turn is going to look like. It introduces the new threats and the story elements. Things get fleshed out a little bit. And these event cards are always randomized every time you play it. If I were to go back and revisit book one, it would not play the exact same as my previous plays because these specific events that get added in are all kind of randomized, but you have like a little symbol on the bottom of the cards that are specifically for book one. And so I have a big collection of maybe 15 to 25 cards that I shuffle all together, and then a couple of them get drawn out. So they're kind of changes up the replayability a little bit. Then you're moving Batman across Gotham. You're freeing up districts. You're, moving closer to tokens that you need to find. You're using these bridges and established pathways, or you're creating new pathways. This game comes with a little Sharpie marker, not a Sharpie, but a dry erase marker, and you can create new pathways that help movement around the city get easier as you go along, and all those carry over between games. Then you've got ally activation. You got Commissioner Gordon with you the first time. He's going out and helping you combat these threats that are popping up throughout the city. Then you resolve your combat, which is a bunch of dice rolls, right? You get some bad guy dice rolls that say bam, wow, pow, block, miss, whatever it is. Then Batman rolls his dice for combat, And you can see right here, I'm going to zoom in on this because I think it's excellent. These are the Batarang dice. If you can see those, they have two little wings on either side. They say bam, pow, and whatever, empty space on the other side. I think those are excellent. I think it's a nice touch. And then the
Travis,
enemies, yeah.
what's the difference between bam and pow?
I think they are the same.
Okay.
Bam, pow means contact, right?
Okay.
And then some of them are empty. Yes, that's a good point. Thank you. But the enemies have dice. The cops have dice. The press do not have dice. And then Batman has some specialty dice. Actually, the press do have dice. But then all of that is going on. That's kind of your turn order. And then you progress through the different levels, through the different escalations until you either run out of health, grit, or stamina, or the doomsday clock reaches midnight, which is kind of another aspect of the comic books that I'm not really going to get into, but you've got a doomsday clock and there's certain things that advance it, like events. And then, or you find the bad guy, you fight the big bad guy, and you win, and you move on to the next book. It all in all, I don't think it's a 3.1 difficulty. I don't really think it's that difficult. And they do provide some really nice resources for you to keep up with the flow of the turn. And there are some fiddly things. You have to put out the little tokens every turn and kind of do a little bit of map management, but it's a solo game. It's really not all that difficult. The minis are super nice. The sculpts on the deluxe version, right? Your boy loves Batman. Your boy's going to go deluxe if there's a Batman board game. The sculpts are excellent. It even has like a little bat sculpt, and it's got like the invisible kind of stand on the bat, and it looks like it's flying. The Batman one's great. James Gordon, not James Gordon, James Gordon, formerly, looks great. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I only played the first one. This is kind of like very early impressions. Only played through book one, but I think it's really fun. It's like a solo pandemic that's Batman themed, and I really like that. A little bit different mechanics, but yeah, I'm happy to go back to this one.
Yeah, so you took me through the turn flow. It sounds like admin hell, but what decisions are you actually making in there? I mean, it sounds like some events happen. Those probably are out of your control. Other things activate, probably out of your control. Do you have like a hand of cards you get to play? Are you just deciding where to move and then playing cards?
Yeah, so that's kind of the cool thing is like you have these different event fight tokens that like get shuffled together, right? And they create the event deck. And a couple of the fights come out for a fight deck, and a couple of them go to your hand. So they're kind of dual use cards, and you have to decide like, okay, I've turned 3 of them out, and they all say different things. 2 of them are going to go into my hand. One of them is going to go into the event deck and be one of the events that I encounter. And you have to kind of make that decision early before the round starts. And then once they are in your hand, then you can use them for special effects. So you are making decisions there. The other thing is you have to balance the threats across the whole map, much like Pandemic, right? But if any of one sector gets overloaded with riots or mutants or, this like escalating threat builds too much in one area, then you're going to lose. And so like moving through the map quickly and efficiently and finding those ideal pathways to get from A to B so that you can thwart that threat is kind of the decisions that you're making on turn to turn. You might end up on spaces that have riots that you have to resolve before you can move. You might end up on spaces that have like both mutant and press threats or the cops or like, multiple things that you have to resolve, and you have to prioritize where you're going to spend your time because that clock is always ticking, not the doomsday clock, but the round timer kind of thing. And so you always have to be like, all right, what is the escalating threat? It's kind of like Marvel United, right?
Oh, yeah.
You have so many threats on this side of the map. Like I have to get there, but maybe I want to go after the big bad guy, right? It's a very similar type feel of how you're balancing those threats and how you're planning out your turns.
Okay. Yeah, no, that sounds kind of interesting. I don't know that I fully understand what you described, but the way you said about you get to draw several cards and you have to put one in the event deck, but you get to keep the others. That
Yeah.
sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. The dual use cards, like I only played through the first book. But it's you flip 3 of them, and deciding which one's going to go to your hand, especially as an inexperienced player, was quite difficult. Like, man, which one of these special effects am I going to need? So maybe it's the inexperience in me, and this is a very early impression, but that's kind of a cool decision space, right? Like, you have dual use cards that like are either going to help you or hurt you down the road, and you have to choose which ones are going to hurt you, which is
Yeah.
kind of interesting. I will say the production on this, I got the deluxe version. Take that for what it's worth. The deluxe version comes with all the standees and everything, but it also comes with a whole separate like binder thing that has all the minis in it. The box is like a big slip cover, and so it's a slip cover. It's all black. It's got a nice big cutout for where the bat signal would go, and then these 2 boxes slide out of the slip cover. One has the main game, the main board, the baggie of dice, like everything in it, to include the standees. And then the other one is just for the minifigs. And man, I think it's great. The production is so nice. Both the slide out boxes have like magnetic clips. Oh yeah, the production is pretty excellent on this one. The board feels good. It's like nice and thick. I wish it had like dual layer boards and stuff, but you can't win them all.
Yeah.
So I'm really enjoying this one. That might just be the Batman nerd in me. Like people went nuts for like the pandemic style Lord of the Rings. This is kind of the Batman style pandemic.
Okay.
So
yeah, I'm intrigued. I don't know that I'll ever go out of my way to play it, but what you said made me at least moderately interested, which is more than I can say for most games like this.
yeah, the art is all straight out of the comic books, which is great. I'm a big fan of the Dark Knight Returns, so man, it is like it's Frank Miller's vision and Frank Miller's run of this comic brought to life. You know, Batman looks like very unique in this one, unlike certain other runs where he just looks kind of run of the mill Batman. He's very unique. He's very beefy. He's got the short ears on his Batman cowl. So I love the art. It's all ripped straight out of the comic. You know, this isn't going to be for everyone, but there's a affordable way to play this with just the baseline version, and I think you'll get a kick out of it. I think it's unique. I think it's cool, but it's not going to be for everyone. I got extra enjoyment out of it because I am a Batman fan, and some people are going to see Batman and just glaze over and not get anything out of this. So, to each their own.
Yeah, I thought I was a Batman fan, but now I'm realizing I have a real blind spot for the Batman mythos.
That's okay.
I know his parents died.
Yep, they're very good. Very
Yes.
good. That's pretty key to his whole identity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for those that are like, man, I would love to get into Batman. I don't know where to start. Dark Knight Returns is great. Batman Year One is great. Batman The Long Halloween. Like those 3 are kind of seminal works in the Batman lore. So go out, find copies of those. I know that they sell like cheap versions of those all over the place. So yeah, that's my take.
I think we did it.
I think we did it. Let's give this one a wrap. Light up the bat signal. We did it. For Operation Game Night, I have been Travis. He has been Robin, aka Clay Gable, and we are out.